This is a book ball summary of the book The Latte Factor by David Bach. Have you ever thought about doing something you wished you could afford and then decided you couldn't? We often lack the time, energy and money to take that dream trip to Asia or to learn to play our favourite instrument. How would you feel if you discovered that saving enough money for retirement was actually much easier than you thought? Let me introduce you to Zoey, a fictional character with the same problems we all face. It doesn't matter how hard she works, she can't break the cycle of never having enough money to accomplish her goals. With the help of a wise old man named Henry, Zoey managed to break out the financial prison she had created. Like many of us, Zoey can't afford to live the life she wants. Like so many of us, Zoey can't afford the life she wants to live. She works at a travel magazine, but her job pays well, but she has student loans and credit card debt to pay off. 3 years ago, Zoey bought a double-shot latte from her local cafe, Helena's. One print in particular caught her eye, and she immediately bought it. Continuing her commute with her latte in hand, Zoey arrived at the World Trade Center station. An advertisement appeared on a screen containing a similar photo to that in the cafe. The photograph came up with a message: if you don't know where you're going, you might not like where you end up. This message got her thinking about her own life. Where was she going? What were her dreams? Zoey was late for work, so she continued on to her destination, One World Trade Center, home of the travel magazine where she worked. At lunch with her boss, Barbara suggested she talk to Henry, the elderly barista at the coffee shop where she gets her morning latte. Henry introduced Zoey to the Latte Factor. Zoey stopped by Helena's that morning to take a closer look at the seaside photo. The frame of the painting bore a price tag of $1,200. One photo cost a month's rent. Her gaze lingered on the photo's beauty, and she mumbled Greek islands' names to herself until someone behind her said Mykonos. Nearly spilling her latte, she turned around to meet Henry, the barista Barbara had introduced her to. Henry asked Zoey why she hadn't bought the photo, after both admitted their admiration for it. Despite her best efforts, she could not afford to spend so much on a single picture. Zoey was shocked when Henry told her that the photo could be afforded if she could afford the latte that she just ordered. Henry's perplexing claim stuck with Zoey throughout the day, even as she politely ignored it and hurried off to work. Zoey was back at Helena's to pick up her latte when Henry stopped by and shared his 3 secrets of financial freedom with her. He told her to start paying herself first and to put some money aside in a 401k retirement plan before the state comes in and taxes her income. Zoey thought about how much money she could save if she brought lunch to work from home and cut her daily expenses by $25. In order to achieve financial freedom, Zoey learned that budgets are useless and automation is key. Zoey was having doubts about Henry's secret to getting her finances in order, and decided to approach him again to ask a few more questions. Henry agreed that she didn't have the discipline to keep doing this on a regular basis, and shared his second secret: don't budget, make it automatic. But when it comes to individual financial planning, it doesn't just work in practice. People are busy and don't have time to keep track of every single financial transaction they make. The solution, Henry went on, was to set up an automatic payment system so that when she got her paycheck, a portion of that would automatically be transferred off the taxable and spendable grid. After all, you can't spend money that you can't access, right? Once the automatic payment system was set up, it would run itself. It would require no discipline or self-control. Think about most companies, Henry remarked. Whether it's your cable provider or local gym, they all automatically take money out of your account, right? They do it for the same reason you should, because it's simple and works. Zoey was starting to see the light, but her friend told her that 10% compound interest was a thing of the past. Henry told her that if she invested a portion of her pre-tax income every month, it would grow bigger over time. Zoey's boss Barbara taught her about the 3 myths of money. Zoey was introduced to Henry's friend Baron, who told her that Henry owned Helena's. Her boss Barbara shared some of her own wisdom with Zoey and explained the 3 myths of money. The first myth, Barbara said, is that making more money makes you richer. While most people think they have a problem with a lack of income, the issue is usually more that they have a problem with spending. Those who make more money usually just end up spending more of it. The solution? To change the habits governing how you spend the money you already have. Barbara, for example, brought her own lunch to work every day, saving around $15 daily. The second myth, Barbara explained, is that one needs money to make money. Barbara had lost count of the number of people who'd made remarks along those lines to her. As Henry had explained, it can start with as little as $5 a day. What's more, Barbara went on, is that you don't have to be a mathematician or Wall Street investor to figure out how compound interest works. Quite the contrary. The goal of making money is that it should happen by itself, and that you don't need to concern yourself with it all the time. Finally, Barbara revealed the third myth of money. That someone else will be there for you to fall back on when times get hard. Whether it's the government or your family, at the end of the day, you can't always expect to have someone to help you out. This is especially the case for us women. Barbara explained, we often hope that some Prince Charming will pop out of nowhere and swoop us off our feet when times get rough. But that's just a fairy tale. Zoey needed to be her own Prince Charming. Zoey learned Henry's final lesson by living rich now, not after retirement. Zoey realised that she'd only heard 2 of Henry's 3 secrets, so she stopped by Helena's to acquire more wisdom from Henry. Henry was happy to oblige, and started off by asking Zoey what was important to her. Not in the future, but right now. As a result of some soul-searching, Zoey decided that she would love to learn how to take amazing photographs. She dreamed of travelling the world in the long run. After all, it often made her sad that she worked for a travel magazine, but she herself had never left the country. Well, Henry replied, it's time to put the third secret into action. Paying yourself first and making that automatic is all well and good, but you also have to live financially free in the present. How much does a high-quality photography course cost? Henry inquired. About $600, Zoey answered. Henry smiled. Zoey needed to open up a dream account, it seemed. In addition to her 401k, if she set aside an additional $5 every day for 6 months, she'd have enough to take the photography course. But would the dream account be enough for her globe-trotting plans? It would still be necessary for her to take time off from work. Henry explained to her the concept of the radical sabbatical, and how he travelled to over 100 countries. Zoey sat down with her travel magazine's HR guy and set up a 401k account, opened 2 dream accounts, and asked Barbara for her permission to take her own radical sabbatical once every year. 3 years have passed since, and Zoey has taken 3 radical sabbaticals. What's more, the photos she's been taking around the world are now being published in the magazine where she works. Zoey is achieving her dreams, and it all started with realising the true value of a $5 latte. What's your most important key takeaway? Please comment down below and share the video if you like it. Check out these other 2 videos. Thank you, and until next time.